I can't believe it's Saturday, July the 12th, and I can't believe how fast this year's going. I can't believe I was in such a conflict about this webinar. In fact, I had to change it up. So you might have come expecting one topic, but I'm giving you another topic today because I was stopped in my tracks by an article that I read, particularly by this number 8. I was stopped in my tracks by the number 8. And I had to share this information with you. So let's get to it, shall we? I'm going to share my screen. And I had yesterday what I'm now calling the 8% wake up call. The carb truth behind healthy aging. So this is webinar 30. Can you believe it? So happy that we're on this journey together, the journey to optimal health. But here it is. This is the article. This is the headline that stopped me in my tracks. I had to change everything and get about the business of sharing this information with you. Less than 8% of women reach old age in good health. Less than 8%. I mean, that was jaw-dropping to me. And researchers say one overlooked dietary factor makes all the difference between thriving and merely surviving. So we want to thrive, right? So what's it all about? Only 1 in 12 women reach age 70 healthy. Just let that sink in. I started to get a picture of 12 women, and or 12 little icons, and sit them side by side, but make one of them in the picture healthy. But what is that? 8% women in vibrant health at age 70. Why? I had to find out what this article had to share. So today we will discover why fewer than 8% of women reach age 70 in vibrant health. We'll discover how the quality of your carbs. Now we talk about protein, and we're going to talk about protein some more, but carbs, are the carbs the villain? Well, it's the quality of your carbs, not just the amount of your carbs, that will shape your energy, your memory, and your mobility tomorrow. And we're going to discover the role that the gut has to play in all this that helps determine whether you're going to thrive or just survive. So, secret number 1. Not all carbs are created equal. The type of carbohydrate matters more than the amount. Now, we know the amount is important, right? We know that we have certain people that are carb sensitive. There's some people that just can sniff at the bottle cap of ketchup and their blood sugar goes up, right? Some people, a cracker and they're off the rails. Some people have more of a carbohydrate tolerance, but when we're talking about arriving at age 70 in a vibrant, healthy condition, the type of carbohydrates matters more than the amount. Women with the highest intake of high quality carbs, so we're talking about the quality now, which are fruits, legumes, gluten-free grains, whole vegetables. The research really says whole grains, but I always change whole grains to gluten-free grains when we're trying to be healthy and kind to our gut. But women with the highest intake of high-quality carbs had a 31% greater chance of aging without disease. It's huge. Here it is. Every 10% increase in refined carbs lowers the odds of healthy aging by 13%. Now, this is staggering to me and I love that we have the statistic now. And I can tell you from the source of the article, not Dr. Mercola, but I went actually to the source of the article where he got the information. And the statistics are staggering. But here it is. It was a study that started in the 80s, I think, on a cohort of nurses. So we have over 47,000 individuals in this study, and they tracked them over decades. And one of the things that they tracked was their food diaries. And that's how we get this information. And that's one reason why it's so staggering to me, because I know that I've been, the whole medical industry has been following this cohort of nurses and what gets revealed in their studies over time for decades. So, but this was staggering to me. So I changed the whole topic today to talk about this. So what's our first action step for secret number 1? Pantry purge. Swap white bread, cereal. You know what? My mom told me when I was in high school, cut down on the white foods. I'm like, what do you mean? But she meant it. White bread, pasta, the things. So swap white bread, cereal, processed. That's a red flag right there. Snacks for whole food carbs that deliver fiber and phytonutrients. Okay. Secret number 2. The fiber factor is a game changer. This was very, very interesting to me. One of the strongest predictors of healthy aging was the carbohydrate to fiber ratio.
That speaks every Saturday.
Low fiber diets lead to blood sugar spikes, mitochondrial damage, and gut barrier breakdown. So I pulled this slide from webinar number 3, actually, which was on carbs. And we went deep into the carbs. We went all the way to the molecule, to the atom, what makes up carbohydrates and how they're put together. And we made 3 different categories of carbs: simple, starchy, and complex. The simple carbs, danger, Will Robinson, right? They spike our blood sugar fast, and the effect only lasts for an hour or less. And so it's a real hit on our metabolism, and our pancreas has to respond, and sometimes it doesn't respond quite enough. So these simple sugars, these simple carbs, can overwhelm our insulin response and our pancreas response. So we want to really, really look at them with a scant's eye and limit them. Now, you see honey's on the list, right? So Do we consider honey to be healthy? Generally, yes, especially Monica honey. But this is where we have to hold two things in our minds at the same time. So with honey, the trap door is going to be the amount. So, uh, because it does provide fast energy to the body. All right. So the mid-range of carb, quote unquote, danger is when we get into the starches. But there are different ways that starches are formed. And so there's some starches that release their carbs relatively quickly, but these are the ones that have very little fiber. The best carbs are the complex carbs that have much more fiber. And there's actually uh, a whole carb to fiber ratio that some people look at when looking at labels. Now, most of these are looking at different types of breads and comparing the breads to the one to the other. I said, since we're not focusing on, we want to be gluten free. So I didn't dig deep into that ratio. But if you want to look for more information about it, you can find the 5-to-1 carb rule or the 5-to-1 fiber rule. Different people call it different things. But the action step for us is to aim for low glycemic, high fiber carbs, like berries, lentils, leafy greens. But here's the caveat, once your gut is ready. How many people have had the experience or have friends that had the experience of deciding, okay, I'm going to change my diet. I'm going to eat salad. I'm going to, really get healthy. And they have horrible gut issues. Um, I mean, I that has been the experience of many of my patients initially, and then my clients are like, "Doc, I just can't do it." Well, let's go to secret number 3, and that'll give us a little more insight. Because secret number 3 is gut health first, longevity second. What do we mean? Even the best carbs can hurt. Oh my goodness, I just thought of a Frank Zappa song. I only know one song by Frank Zappa, but the lyrics are even the kitchen can the dangerous kitchen, that's the name of the song. And even the milk, it can hurt you if you don't smell the carton before you pour it on your cereal. Okay, that's my whole Frank Zappa catalog. Okay. But even the best carbs can hurt you if your gut is compromised. Refined carbs damage the gut lining, but high quality carbs, while they definitely nourish the beneficial bacteria, if they are in a gut that is inflamed, then problems can ensue. But we do want the high quality carbs to get to the fiber part, to get to the gut bacteria, because butyrate is very important for the gut lining and the microbiome wars. All right. Action step for secret number 3. Start with a gut reset phase. So if you know your gut's having issues, start with easy to digest carbs, but remove irritants. And here we go with the good food, bad food list. We want to avoid the bad foods. What are the bad foods? They're foods that cause inflammation in the gut. Now, what are one of the good foods? We talk about sometimes, probably not enough. That's fermented fibers, fermented foods like green greens, bananas, kimchi, right? Cooked and cooled potatoes. So this is another topic, controversy about resistant starches or resistant carbs, uh, how you handle um, some starches like potatoes, rice, if you eat them right after they're cooked and they're warm, which is, when we all usually eat uh, cooked potatoes, the the carbs release in your bloodstream faster than if you let them cool first and then reheat them. That's, you still have to use your sense. I don't want to say common sense because sense isn't common these days, more and more. But you still have to be aware of the amount, right? So just because you cooked and cooled a potato doesn't mean, okay, now I don't have to worry about how much I'm eating. Okay, so bonus secret number one, I'm back to that number 8%, the 8% mindset. Why is it so important now? I don't think there are many of us on the call that are 70 plus, right? So a lot of times when we're making decisions about what to eat, and we're mostly focusing on carbs today, um, we're not necessarily thinking, okay, this decision is going to help me when I'm 70, but we've got to have that mindset. I got to refresh the whole premise. Less than 8% of women age into their 70s without disease, memory decline, or functional loss. That's not destiny. It's a nutritional decision. Please, please, please. So here's the action step. Track one high quality carb upgrade you're going to do this week. What are you going to swap? But think about this. Every single choice you make moves you closer or farther away from the 8%. Woo! So I mentioned the glycemic index, and I actually have a glycemic index handout. I didn't include it in this uh, presentation, but what I want you to really see is we've made it very simple. The two P's, protein and produce. Protein, and everyone say it with me, protein and produce. That makes it simple, right? Anything else sprinkled in, you got it. Now, do we have healthy fats? Yes, etc. But I want top of mind to be protein and produce and healthy carbs, right? Alrighty. So, got a lot done in I think a little bit of time. But I'm Dr. Lisa Singletary. Very happy to be at your service, also known as the 100-pound weight loss specialist, because I've actually personally lost over 150 pounds, and I'm going to share with you the secrets of how I did that. And I took my lifelong experience at in the weight loss journey, mostly uh, personal but much professional, and I have developed the framework of the 5 M's of total transformation. And usually I stick to the 5 M's, right? But today I just had to dig into that one article because of that one number, 8%, 1 out of 12. All right, I think you got the point there. But what we're doing here is empowering you to transform your health from the inside out. So I am a family physician, retired. I have a master's degree in public health. I'm a certified holistic health educator, and I'm thrilled to be here with you, helping to empower you to get to your health goals. In 2006, I wasn't eating many healthy carbs at that time. I was eating a lot of unhealthy carbs, but I had a little ace in the hole, and that was I had the gift of mobility. So my muscles were strong. I was burning a lot of that energy, and I really felt great, although I was extremely, extremely heavy. And I did have bad knees, but something happens when that music comes on. My knee pain just kind of went away while the music was going. But in 2008, I left my practice and I left my beloved ballroom dancing to go home and take care of my parents. And I was their primary caretaker for 8 years. And 8 years later, when they transitioned, I needed my father's wheelchair just to get around the house. I needed a miracle. Now, I'm not going to tell you I found a miracle because we don't talk about miracles in health and wellness. And this is my disclaimer slide, actually. I do not diagnose, heal, uh, cure any medical diseases. I'm not giving you a second opinion. This is not a medical consultation. I'm sharing with you my personal journey, but also the research and my my medical expertise. So this was my weight. When I turned 60 a few years ago, can't believe it. I tracked my weight through the years, and I was on a really bad trajectory, as you could see. But then the trajectory changed, and I'm so thrilled that it did because I was in a really bad place. But that changing that trajectory allowed me to go from the picture on the left to the picture on the right, and still on the journey today. But I'm so thankful that I found bonus secret number 2, which is how to deeply nourish my body, getting down to the cellular level of uh, of nutrition. So, along with the 5 M's of total transformation, I've also developed this framework of the 5 steps to nutritional completeness to deeply, deeply nourish the body. And a lot of times in health and wellness, we skip past step 1. We go right to the supplements, we go right to the Reiki, the red light therapy, the cryotherapy. Ooh. But let's focus on step 1 a little bit today. We need to eat. We need to realize that with every forkful we take, we are either going towards that 8% or we're going in the opposite direction. So we need to avoid the bad foods. And it's more important to avoid the foods that cause inflammation than it is to decide which of the good foods you're going to eat. You could be vegan and be unhealthy. You could be a carnivore and be unhealthy. You could, if you have to make good choices. All right. Step 2, 90 essential nutrients. Step 3, antioxidants, anti-inflammatories, adaptogens. Step 4, almost step 4 could be step 1, is digestive health, right? But these 4 steps, and when I talk about digestive health, it's not just the health of the gut microbiome, which that's always in the news, right? But it's also the gut lining and the gut organs, the pancreas, the liver, all the things that help your food to be turned into energy. Then step 5, wellness wonderland, have at it. But the first 4 steps are the foundation. And the 9 essential nutrients, good luck trying to get them in most products on the supplement aisle. Good luck trying to get them in the food. You've got to get the right supplements, the right amount, the right time of day, and we have a very, very convenient way of doing that that I have found that I use every day, and I'm very, very blessed to have this on my in my arsenal, one of the arrows in my quiver on this journey. So what do we discover today? High quality carbs fuel longevity, not just calories, but cellular nourishment. Fiber is so important. And remember that fiber to carb or carb to fiber ratio. Fiber and gut health are crucial, but you don't want to blast out an unhealthy gut with too much fiber. And we need to get the gut right. But if I could drive anything home today, it's this. Your health in your 70s and beyond, it depends completely on your habits and decisions in your 40s, 50s, and 60s. All right. Woo. So what change are you going to make this week? Now, we've had the 1 week with no bread challenge. We had a 1 week gluten-free challenge. But let's think, can we dig into our carb intake? And is there something that we can make a little swap on, and maybe more than a week? Because actually the study showed that the main differences in longevity came from when habits were changed over the decades, not when someone just, okay, all of a sudden decided to eat healthy. That didn't have as much of an impact on the healthy aging. So make the decisions, make the changes now. So put it in the chat. What's one thing you're going to try this week? All right, for those of you who want to learn more about the health journey that I'm on, or you'd like my help in maybe pointing you in the right direction, guiding you, coaching you, the first step is to find out where you're starting on this health journey. So if you go to the Health Hub, then you can take the 3 big steps there. But the first step is finding out what is your personal health score. And that is something that we can track month after month after month to make sure we're on the right path. And I did promise you that I was going to say something about protein because, you know, the types of carbs are important, yes, but protein is a foundational building block of the body. And if you don't have enough protein and enough the right quality of protein, your body is going to be in a craving mode. It's going to be looking for sustenance, going to be looking for energy. And trust me, as one who invented Nisrati syndrome, that's not so random acts of temporary insanity. When your body starts to crave, when your gut microbiome is craving, it triggers your brain to do certain things, and woo, you make some bad decisions. So let's get our protein in a healthy way. All right, so what's coming up? So today's webinar 30, whoop, whoop, whoop. And we were supposed to be talking about sweating today, and that's important, and motion, but that article just stopped me in my tracks. And I'm glad because I really enjoyed digging down into the research because it's so important that we're motivated to make good decisions. And hopefully, knowing statistically, thanks to the tens of thousands of nurses that were studied over the decades, we've got real evidence, we've got real data that making good decisions in midlife totally impacts our health in old age. All right, but next week, 31, I think we'll go back to the schedule. So the micronutrient tool box. So we're talking about cooling because we're in summer, but we're cooling not just our bodies, but we're going to be cooling our cells. All right. So thank you everyone for coming to webinar 30. Those of you who are live, stay on the line because we're going to have a great Q&A session. For those of you who are on the replay, thank you. We're so glad that you joined us today. Have an awesome, awesome rest of, I can't believe we're in the middle of July, but have an awesome rest of July and keep that 8% mindset. All right. I love you all. Mwah.